Buying a house is a huge deal and is probably the most expensive purchase you will ever make. Not only does it cost a lot of money, but it's also a big emotional investment. This could be the place you raise your kids. You want to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible. Hi, this is Darlene Medranda with eXp Realty, your trusted agent in Long Island, New York. When seller accepts your offer, you will enter into a contract to buy the house. And good Lord, this contract is massive. It covers everything from the agreed upon price to the day you pick up your keys. And if your real estate agent is doing their job, it will also include some contingencies. Wait, what? That's right. Most home sale transactions usually come with a few strings attached to make sure both parties are getting what they need. At this point, you might be asking yourself, what kind of contingencies? What a great question. Let's get into it. Think of real estate contingencies as conditions that must be met to ensure that the sales goes through. But they aren't necessarily bad. There are a lot of things that can cause a deal to fail, and contingencies can help you make sure you walk away from the deal without losing your shirt. Contingencies protect the buyer and the seller from things that could go wrong in the transaction. There are 4 main contingencies written into most real estate transactions: appraisal, home inspections, financing, and home sales contingency. Each of these is important to a sale contract. Let's take a closer look at them. Appraisal. No one, literally no one, wants to pay too much for a house. An appraisal will make sure that you know the fair market value of the house before the sale closes. If the appraised value is less than the sale price, an appraisal contingency allows the buyer to back out of the contract or negotiate a lower price with the seller. Keep in mind that the lender won't want to underwrite a loan for more than the house is worth. Number 2, the home inspection and repairs. A home might look fantastic outside, but it might need thousands of dollars of heating work in the inside, and you don't want to buy a house in Lemon. With a home inspection contingency, you have the right to have a professional home inspection. Then, if the inspection turns out major problems like a hole in the roof or a crack in the foundation, you can ask the seller to fix the problems, reduce the price, or cancel the contract. You might be tempted to skip the home inspection contingency to make your offer more appealing. Do not do this. Always have a professional inspect your house first. Otherwise, you could end up paying too much for a home with expensive structural issues, and that could cost you thousands of dollars later. Financing. A financing contingency gives the buyer a certain amount of time to get approved for the mortgage. Let's be clear here. You need to be pre-approved for a loan before even make an offer to avoid trying to buy a home you can't afford. Being pre-approved also speeds up the loan approval process once you make your offer. But even with pre-approvals, people get into housing contracts every day only to have the financing fall through at the last minute. That's why this contingency comes in handy. Number 4, home sale. Sometimes you need to sell your current house before you can buy a new one. That can be kind of rough for sellers who can miss another offer while they're waiting for you to close on your old home. Because of this, sellers usually attach a kick-out clause to this contingency. This is basically a sell-by date, so the seller can move on if you can get your current house sold. You also want to make sure you are not making 2 mortgage payments. It might make more sense to sell your house first and then rent for a while. That way, you won't have to worry about this contingency at all. As you can see, contingencies protect the buyer from paying too much, ending up with a home that has major structural issues, or being forced to buy a home without proper financing. But sellers benefit as well. If all the conditions are met, the buyer can back out of the purchase without financing or sometimes legal consequences. Title contingencies. If there are problems with the title, like any liens or judgments against the property, it gives the buyer the option to walk away instead of dealing with any contested ownership claims. We also recommend title insurance to protect you from unknown catastrophes in this area after the sale. Insurance approval. Apply for insurance as soon as you put down your earnest money. Why? If you find out you can't get insurance for some reason, or the insurance is outrageous, expensive, you should be able to walk away. These things like previous claims for mold or an old roof can make a house difficult to insure. The final walkthrough. It's common to make a final walkthrough the day before the closing. Do not skip this step. You want to make sure there hasn't been any serious damage to the property since you entered into the contract. You will also want to check that all agreed upon repairs have been made. If you show up for the walkthrough and it looks like a college fraternity just finished or an initiation ritual in the living room, you should have recourse to back out. The attorney review. You might wish to include a clause that allows your attorney to review the contract for a period of time before closing. They can make sure nothing has been removed or sneaked into the contract without your knowledge and that everything is okay before closing. If you have any questions, please call me. I am here to help. It's Darren Madranda with eXp Realty. And remember, when you do what you love, people love what you do. Thank you and talk to you soon.